So I've just finished watching the press release for the Panasonic GH6 and I am excited to say the least. Since I've had my hands on the Lumix S5, I've discovered what amazing cameras these things really are and how much they actually listen to user feedback because they've continuously updated these cameras. And what they've done with all that information is they've packed so much into this new GH6 camera, all the things that everybody's been asking for, and it's mind-blowing, it's amazing, and I can't wait to get my hands on one and try one. Maybe by the time this is out, I'll have got one to give it a go. I'm not going to bombard you with all the features because that's just boring, but I will give you a quick rundown. And first I want to tell you the 3 things that excite me the most. And the first one is that this camera will record ProRes internally using the CF Express card. Now that's amazing because we haven't really seen that in this style of camera other than the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema cameras, but the problem with those are the battery life. I've stayed away from those things because you just have to rig it out so much to make that camera usable. And really, you couldn't record internally because, or could you? I thought you had to use the SSD card. Anyway, so now we're going to have that, which is just incredible. Then continuous recording. We're starting to see more of this happening with the cameras now, and it's just one extra thing you don't have to worry about. And also another application that you can use your cameras for, because for a lot of jobs you will need that extended recording time, and I really don't like thinking about that 30-minute record limit and having to restart the recording again. And then thirdly, the price. We are getting a cinema camera features for under £2,000. What other camera with all of these features and this quality can you get for under £2,000? This camera itself is an absolute steal. I mean, you do get a lens included in the price, but even still, I'm just going to run through a couple more features that I think is worth sharing before I tell you about who this camera is for. So we've got 5.7K in up to 60 frames a second. That's just insane. Is that right? 5.7, let me just check that. 5.7K, 10-bit, 60 frames a second. That's crazy. 4K 120, and this is another thing that really excites me. You can externally record 4K 120 frames per second to the Atomos Ninja 5. Then we've got 240 frames a second in full HD. We've got a dynamic boost mode which increases the dynamic range of the camera. It's got a bunch of anamorphic modes as well for people that like to shoot with anamorphic lenses. A fan so that it doesn't overheat with the continuous recording, which I like the sound of. I think everybody is being extremely careful at the moment since the whole Canon R5 and R6 thing, because Canon got a little bit of a bashing for that, so everybody is making sure that they integrate the continuous recording and the overheating issues. As great as Panasonic cameras' image stabilizations are already, they've upgraded it even further so you get 7.5 stops of image stabilization. I think there's one thing to bear in mind with this camera, and that's who is it for, or more importantly, who's it not for. We've got a lot of people in the YouTube world at the moment who are raving about the full frame cameras, and while I love full frame cameras, they don't have to be for everybody, and a camera doesn't always have to be full frame. They're great for YouTube people because you can get nice and close to the camera and you've got a wider field of view. So if I was vlogging, for example, and the camera is really close to me, on a micro four thirds sensor, you're gonna have to have a super wide lens. That's why the kit lens for this is 12 to 60. So essentially you're getting around a 19-20mm lens, which isn't super wide for vlogging. So it's not a vlogger's camera, and it's never intended to be a vlogger's camera. This is the problem when people start going, oh, it doesn't compare to this camera, it doesn't compare to that, it's not good for this isn't a good camera, but it's all about the application and how you'll use it. So it's not the YouTuber's camera. Unless you've just got a shot like this, it'd be fine for this because it's in one place as long as you've got the room. Who I really think it's for is the filmmaker, people who make documentaries, the wedding filmers, anybody who is behind the camera. This is going to be an amazing tool and I really want to get my hands on one. There's also even more audio options, so you can now have up to 4 audio inputs. This really has become a cinema camera in that sort of hybrid body. I'd love to know your thoughts on this camera. I'm sorry I couldn't show you any example footage, but like I said, hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on one soon, so stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for plenty more of this stuff. Any questions, let me know in the comments below, and any thoughts you want to share, leave them below. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.